Have you ever wondered if more expensive ammo is actually worth the money? Well, today we're going to find out what's more accurate and more deadly. Alright, so first up we have these Lapua Naturalis, or however you say it, and these are straight from Finland, and this box ran me $44.99 for 20 rounds. They are hollow points, but still, that is crazy expensive for 223. So it's a 50 grain copper hollow point, as you might be able to see there, compared to, you know, just the regular 55 grain full metal jackets for the cheap rounds. But I got these from Palmetto State, price per round $2.25. And, you know, this is marketed as a hunting bullet. You know, it's a hollow point. And, you know, there's a bunch of kind of features here that they list off, but this is the most expensive stuff that I could find. 50 grains, yeah, I mean, crazy expensive stuff. And then on the polar opposite end, we have this PMC X-Tac right here, just your normal 55 grain hollow point. You know, looks like a very normal 5.56 round, except for this box came in at $8.99 for 20 rounds. So much cheaper. And yes, it's just an FMJ, but wildly cheaper. So today we are going to find out which one is more accurate and which one is more deadly. We've got water jugs and pork shoulders, and then we've got a target out here at 50 yards where we will shoot a group with each one and see which is more accurate. So these 5 rounds right here cost as much as 1 round of the more expensive ammo. But does that mean that it's not as good? I'm not exactly sure. We're gonna shoot at 50 yards out of my DD M4 V7 right here and see how it performs. I think, you know, I'll still get a pretty decent group out of this ammo. And of course, you know, all boxes of ammo will shoot differently out of all different kinds of guns. Some barrels prefer different ammo. So, you know, this is not an end-all be-all test, but it is going to at least, you know, give us a comparison of the group size between both of these. So we're gonna load this up and shoot 5 rounds. So something that should be noted as well is in a recent video we just swapped out this trigger right here, and this is the Rise Rave 140 trigger, and I'm not gonna lie, it was less accurate than the stock trigger. So not necessarily that this is an excuse, but have to take that into consideration here when shooting this group. Okay, so there is the 5 round group. From what I can see, actually it looks like it did pretty good. So let's load up this far more expensive ammo now. This is $2.25 a shot. So 5 rounds, it adds up pretty quick. So it better shoot pretty accurate. See if we can get our money's worth, see if we can get a little bit of a tighter group even. So I definitely pulled that last one. It's tough to see a 22 caliber bullet through a 6 power scope there, but let's walk down and check out our group sizes. All right, so cheap right there, expensive ammo right there. I think this was the last one here, so I definitely pulled that one. You know, if I could have kept it in here, it'd have been a decent sized group, and then it would have been pretty comparable. So I'm gonna say that for accuracy wise, it's a tie, and like this is definitely not the most scientific accuracy test in the world. We were, you know, not shooting that far. I'm sure out of a bolt gun at, you know, 500 yards, you might notice a difference. Fortunately, we don't have that setup right here, but for today's test, I'm going to call it a tie because I did pull that one. So next up, and this is where I think we will see the most difference, is in the devastation of these water jugs and pork shoulders. All right, we've got 7 water jugs here. This will be our first test. We've got the cheap ammo up first, which is the PMC X-Tac in 55 grain. So this is a full metal jacket, as to where the more expensive stuff is a hollow point. So let's see how it performs on these water jugs. All right, absolutely exploded those first couple. I think it looks like some survived though, which I was kind of expecting. Let's see, that one. So clean through 3, and it did not enter the 4th one here, but absolutely demolished those first couple. So, all right, 3 is the number to beat. So now let's throw in one of the more expensive rounds, and I'm gonna grab a couple more just in case, you know, it happens to make it through more. But it is a hollow point, so I'm not thinking it will go through more than 3. Okay, another round of the Lapua. No idea how to actually pronounce the name there. And every time you squeeze the trigger with one of these, it is $2.25, which is just ridiculous for $2.23. But let's see how she performs. Okay, at that time I got wet. So did you. Okay, so I would say we have at least more devastation upon impact. Let's see how many jugs it went through though. I think I had 5 up there, and it only went through, so it went through 2 and entered this 3rd one here. And yeah, I mean, I got soaked by it. You know, same distance, same amount of jugs, or I guess, oh no, it did go through this one. So, and into the 4th one, and then the bullet's right there. That's actually pretty cool. So let's see if I can find the bullet here. All right, so that's pretty cool. There is the bullet there, mushroomed like crazy. And I think this is a completely copper bullet, as far as I remember looking, and obviously by the looks of it right here. So that went, it entered into the 4th one. So it did penetrate through more water jugs than the cheap ammo. And I mean, that's pretty wild there for a 223 bullet. Like, that's got to be, you know, certainly bigger than, gosh, almost maybe you know, 30% larger than how the projectile was, you know, before it expanded. So great expansion there. I really didn't think, because it was a hollow point, I didn't think it was going to go through as many. So that's a win for the more expensive ammo. Now on to the last test, and probably the most realistic, which is the pork shoulder. Right here we've got an 8-pound bone-in pork shoulder. So there's, you know, the main bone right here that runs through the middle of it, little layer of fat, and I don't know, 6 inches, 6-8 inches of meat. So this is gonna be a pretty good test for both of these rounds. I'm very excited to see what this more expensive stuff does. But to start out, to keep it in the same order, we are going to load up one of these cheap rounds here. Again, a full metal jacket, and see how it does. I mean, I don't think it's going to be pretty either way. Didn't explode it, that's for sure. Hit a little bit low, and it passed through. I'm assuming, yeah, the bullet just skipped right here. I'm gonna shoot it one more time. I'm gonna aim a little bit higher and see what we get. But right there, entrance does not look too crazy at all. I'm gonna shoot one more, try to hit kind of more in the middle. Okay, that one hit right where I wanted it to. Tiny little entrance hole, can barely even tell. And then it did exit because it tore up my table here. You can see kind of the exit down there, but really didn't, you know, disrupt it too much, not like a crazy entrance or crazy exit hole. So we're just gonna shoot the same one with the more expensive ammo. I'll try to hit kind of up towards here and see what happens with that. Another $2.25 down the drain. And you know, as it says here on the box, this is for hunting. I think, is that a roe deer?
I have no idea.
Something from Europe, which is kind of funny because, you know, all of the hunting rounds out here, it's like, you know, a whitetail, mule deer, elk, or a bear, something like that. And this is whatever the heck they have over there. So, got a 50 grain hollow point. Let's see what this does. I'm expecting a much more wild entrance and exit. Okay, yeah, just like I was expecting. That one tipped it right over. And don't know exactly where I hit. And this is, I don't want to do this because this is disgusting. But oh man, look at that. Yeah, absolutely disintegrated it. I mean, fully disintegrated. This is absolutely disgusting. You hungry?
Oh, I'm good.
You want a little pork?
Yeah, I'll pass.
Throw it on the Traeger. Yeah, that's pretty gross. Yeah, I mean, absolutely dismantled it. So I would say it's worth the money. If you're gonna hunt with a 223, I would certainly go the more expensive route. Of course, there's a lot of options in between there as far as price points, but yeah, that hollow point messed that pork up.